Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM23 Lions. It's episode 133, and we have made it to another year, still in Continental Pro. And of course, because we crushed the Continental Pro competition, we have easily qualified to once again make all of the World Tour races that we hope to make. Now, 2 years ago, we were second on that list, and they didn't allow us into 2 races. Technically 3 if you count Australia. At the beginning of the year, but they don't allow anyone into that race. So we're missing that one. With last season, that was the only one we missed. We'll see if that's the case again for the coming year, but it's going to be a little less important now because the goal, the tactic going forward is now to well and truly push. So we're going to be skipping a lot of races. We will focus on a key stage here and there, but primarily monuments, and not 3, but 2. Grand Tours. We know the Tour de France is a bit too rich for us. The Giro and La Vuelta, a little bit better options. But even those, the way I did La Vuelta, where we at least trimmed down 1 to 1.5 episodes, we'll be doing the same on that because our window is pretty small. I'd like to get 2 seasons in if possible. So it's going to be thinned down, actually probably quite a bit more than La Vuelta was. Maybe 3 episodes per Grand Tour for, total of 6. Maybe 1 for the Tour, so 7 for all the Grand Tours. Even that's already more than 2 weeks of content with a pretty small window. You throw in monuments, we're talking at least, 2 to 3 more episodes right there. We got a lot to do, so let's dive right in. First off, we have $177,000 for our budget this season, which was a pretty healthy jump, and we're looking at another potential $27K increase for the coming year. However, this year isn't going to be a guaranteed. Barely made the bubble to stay in Continental Pro, and we're racing a World Tour calendar. Now, that is going to give us some extra points competitively, racing that whole World Tour calendar compared to other Continental Pro teams, but we're not going to race Route of Oman or Mallorca or in Belgium or Valencia. Those are all going to be passes. So if we fail all of those, we're going to have successes elsewhere, and that's not assured. It's January the 1st, and as of December the 27th, this had not happened. So it roughly happened right here at the turn of the month. It could have been a couple days back, but Maccabee has leveled up. And I noticed something that I had missed. I have a sticky note that I started copying down when anybody joined that 4.5 star club, and that's how I've been tracking it. It's gotten a little full. I started jotting things down on the back of it and forgot. So last season, it wasn't just 2 guys that leveled up at the very beginning of the year in January and February, and then right at the cusp of us getting relegated, Hanoke leveled up. Hooray! That wasn't actually number 3. That was number 5. We had 2 other level ups on the year. A third in March. So we had January, February, and March. And then Maccabee in May. Just May, not that long ago at all. Maccabee joined the 4.5 star club as the 4th for the year. Hanoke made it 5 for the year. And as we enter the new year, we already have our first level up of the year. And it's a good one, folks, because Maccabee is now in the 5-star club, making it 4 riders. He's the last one. He's still not counted in our top 3, but it's certainly a good thing, good problem to have. But our problem with Maccabee is totally lacking any sort of balance in his ratings. He is an 80 sprint. Woohoo! We have not had anything like that. But he can't climb for the life of him. His flat has improved. I've been working on that one a little bit. It has caught up. It's a 71. Not caught up. It's made up ground. His recovery is okay, but what good is that going to do us? We're going to throw him at the Tour de France to not win, because an 80 sprint by itself is not going to do it there. Prologue is at 70, but his acceleration is only a 68 and he can't climb. I've just chained. He's almost maxed out on his sprint rating itself, but his acceleration's not coming up with it. So to get that one, I've changed his training focus to a puncher. 57 hills and 68 acceleration, and he's got a lot of potential in hills. It's not for the hill rating that I'm doing this, though it certainly won't be a bad thing to have because it can absolutely lead to wins if you can get a pretty half-decent hill rating to go with a good sprint. But it's to get the acceleration points. We're not getting them out of sprint training, so we need to focus now on another method of getting them, and the next best thing, and especially with what's available to him, is through that puncher training. Well, it's time to find out the evolution of training structures. It has happened, but we don't know what nations it is, and we don't know if it's African nations or other nations. Now, if I was a betting person, I would go all in with my available resources to bet with on Morocco, because Sami Arab finished 8th in the points. Didn't even make the shortlist, though, for Rider of the Year. Girmay, who wasn't in the top 10, did. And I think it's a short list of 10 riders. So for him to not make it, that sucks a bit. But he did it with consistency to crack the top 10, as opposed to having any elite victories, which that lower popularity does make it easier to re-sign him when his contract expires. But anyway, evolution of training structures. Morocco. Yes. And so with that upgrade, we've now hit double digits in African development. Morocco initially was a 3-4 nation with a 3 in training structure, a 4 in popularity. We boosted that popularity a while ago. We had another opportunity. It should be a 7. Should be a 7, but the odds didn't land. The dice roll didn't go our way. So it remains a 5, but the training structure has grown now from a 3 to a 4. Faster than I think I've ever managed to do this, I've gone ahead and thrown together a set of objectives. It's a little bare bones compared to what it normally is, but that should actually help a little bit on the fatigue side. Might hurt on the point side, especially with those quick sims, but they might not get as overloaded this way. We'll see how they do. But I've made a lot of just quick decisions and click, 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 click. We'll get what we get. The dreaded evolution of potentials has come in. Mixed bag. Okay. The 18-year-old that we signed very late, 4.5-star prospect, has been dumped down to a 3-star prospect. But Grayson Schultz was a 4.5-star prospect. Good enough to sign. He's now a 5.5-star prospect. We'll have to see in time how that reshapes his web. But that's fantastic news. I'm happy to have a bust for what is potentially the best rider we've ever had. No races yet, but we've moved into late January, and here we go again. Good news, here we go again. It's Ashimwe, the latest to join the 5-star club, as he is nearly maxed out. Looks like some punch training is in store for him. But we've got a 77 mountain, we've got a 78 medium mountain, we've got 76 hills for Ashimwe. Cobble rating is tolerable. That definitely makes him effective as a piece in like a Ronde type race. Recovery is high, so you can definitely handle a long Grand Tour, and it's a good breakdown. You can see he's picked up, because this is just from the end of last season, he picked up 2 medium mountain and 1 hill point. That seems to be the bulk of it. Recovery, he's picked up at least 1 point there, but it's that medium mountain and hills that he has gained. Very valuable for us. I would have liked to have seen 1 more mountain point with him to get that a little bit better, a little bit stronger. With 4 career victories, he's been the occasional leader for us, or surprise support rider who had a great +4, +5 kind of day to get that leadership role. But with not much left to gain, and at 25, I would expect it's going to be a while before we see anything else, and he's going to probably lock in where he's at right now for at least quite a while. But I mean, outside of sprint and acceleration, everything is 70 plus, and that is something we just really haven't seen. This is the most balanced rider that we have on our squad. A few perceptive individuals all commented how at the end of the season with the Tour of Guangxi, a certain Augustine is Rwandan and claimed victory in that one. I had pointed him out specifically. I did not at the time recognize who he was. But after seeing those comments, I looked back and opened his profile and went, oh, this guy. Let me give you the rundown on this scenario. So in Rwanda, Shimwe is the best rider, the only 5-star they have. Roteasir, who we just let go, he's with 1A Austria now, is the 4.5-star time trialist. Certainly capable of getting some wins in the time trial, and has, but at 14.5 we just did not have the finances to hang on to him or the dossier points. It was about 10 or 9 points to go after him, and we just didn't have the spare room for that, and he was at 0%. He really didn't want to come back for another year, so we ended up letting him go. But he's still out there, and he'll perform and get the occasional win, but with a 79 time trial, it's going to be hard to get the kind of wins that would actually boost Rwanda. I don't think he's going to score enough points to be much of a player, but he'll continue to get some wins in his career. Tony's the next best guy, and then Augustine. We'll look at him in just a second, but behind that, it's Bitsimana, who we used to have. It's Eroya, who we used to have, now 35, and Mohira, who is now a 4-star talent. So he was 3.5 last year. So he is leveling up pretty quick. He's getting there. He's got a ways to go yet. 74 mountain and hills. The only other rider in all of Rwanda who we've not had is Mohirwa, and he's a time trialist. Very, very basic stats, but a 25-year-old time trialist. So on to Augustine. Now, the story with Augustine is rather simple. Of the last 4 years, I think he was on my short list that I jotted down as I went through, searching nation by nation. He was on my short list of potential signings. 3 out of the 4 years, maybe all 4 years, possibly. He's been somebody that we were close to, so close that a couple years back, the decision was between him and one other guy. We went for the other guy. I want to say it was something like Hanok on the choice. We've already seen where Hanok is and at 5 stars, and how that ended up being a fairly easy choice. It might not have been Hanok specifically. In fact, it could have been Mahira, who's now at 4 stars, but has more potential. And here's the problem with Augustine and why he's been a just miss over and over again. His potential, well, he's got a couple points for Mountain Left, which could get him to a 77. And we just saw Shimway's at a 77, but Shimway's also got more going on. You could definitely see that the web for a Shimway that we were just looking at, definitely a little bit deeper than Augustine. Not by much, but it's a little bit stronger. And the guys we've been signing are all kind of in that same boat. Now, there's still a chance that we do end up signing Augustine. I mean, at this point, domestique-wise, he'd be a good have. He does have an expiring contract. He'll be on that short list again. And as he is now near his max, it's not just looking at his potential going, well, he's got potential, but it's not the potential of some of the other guys. And that's why he keeps just missing. But now he's got the current, the ability to contribute, be a solid member of the team. His win at the Tour of Guangxi, it was the first stage win and first GC win of his career. So 2 victories counted for that. He's never won anything otherwise. The closest thing to a victory that he's ever had was a mountain jersey. One more quick note on a Shimway is, since reaching 4.5 stars, this was his 3rd level up. They said he doesn't have much left now, but he's the first rider to get into that 4.5 star club and have 3 level ups in that window. Musa is hands down one of our best prospects. Easily. And just last January, so just 13 months ago, it's only now February, it's only a couple of weeks later, I still haven't done a race yet. We are going to get one in for this episode, but my oh my, how things are developing rapidly here as we now have another 5-star guy. He just hit 4.5 stars. He jumps right to 5 stars with his next level up. It's as a puncher. He now has an 81 hills. He was on an 80. He's lacking in other areas, but he does have 78 acceleration. He does have the ability to gain separation for the time being. We'll keep him focused on punching as his development cycle, and he's cracked our top 3, so he has helped raise us up a little bit. We've pushed that bubble up higher with our latest 5-star additions. Musa was the last guy on this list. He's jumped to 3rd, so he's overtaken 6 teammates from his 4.5-star to now 5-star, and we've gone from 2 of them a couple weeks prior to the deadline. And yes, we were due for level ups, and they're coming in hot and fast. But we've gone from 2 to 6 in just a few months. It's crazy good. Very excited for it. So far, though, month of February, early halfway into the month of February. I mean, we're about a month into the season. Last year prior, we were number 1 in the rankings. I can tell you right now, we're nowhere near that. We have not had a win yet. And our next race is actually going to be stage 5 of Tour of Oman. We need a top 3, and it's our biggest sponsor objective of the year. And I don't see us getting the successes we need to get the sponsor confidence boost. So we've got to hammer out one minor race. I have not prepared for it in any special or meaningful way, but we do have Arab Hanok and Ashimwe all there. I don't know what they're going to look like, but their fitness at least should be good. But will any of them have a good race day condition, and what their position will be coming in a couple punchy stages prior? At least we'll know with that stage 5 and that mountain stage where that'll place us if we can be top 3. What we really need is minimum top 5. That's a difficult ask, and the only way to get a better evaluation is to win. Win is great evaluation, top 3 is good evaluation, top 5 is partial evaluation. 6th place or below, it's complete failure. Let's get the race situation figured out before we get onto the climb. It's stage 5 of 6, but stage 6 is a sprint stage, so it's all going to come down to this stage. Now, with 2 punchy stages prior, here's the standings. We got one guy who is our leader today, without a doubt, even though he's really our second best on the day, and that is Sammy Arab. Sammy Arab sits 5th place overall after a podium, not a win. We have not had a single win this season, and that was actually our first podium of the year, but Arab on stage 4 got a podium. So with 19K to go, we've got to rely on Arab because of the positioning. Now, we're aiming for that top 3. We already have a top 5. And in terms of expectations for a day like this, well, we didn't do any prep. No one has a fitness peak or an objective for this, and we've got a very neutral draw. Shimway's got a +2 and makes him ever so slightly stronger than Arab, potentially. What we're going to be looking to do is beat the other contenders, and this is not that deep of a field. But there are 4 riders within 80 or better mountain. There's a 5th rider besides Arab who has a 79, but then it does drop off to 77. So getting a top 5 feels quite possible. Getting a top 3, not easy, but possible. Win seems unlikely without the race day condition bonuses, but I think a top 3 could be in the cards. And we don't know where those other top climbers are positionally. Even if we finish a few seconds behind one guy, we might have a few seconds advantage over them still as it is. So as we prepare for the climb right now, there's a big push because there's guys going for that sprint classification and making that push there. We don't need to be making a push on that, but it's 11K to go. We are going to want to gel early as we go inside the 10K banner. Now's a good time to gel for our most tired of domestiques. That's Mohira. Lottering a moment later, 9K, and Janssen. The breakaway has been caught. One rider out the back, but otherwise the whole peloton's here, but it's a rather small peloton compared to normal. And like I said, it's not as deep of a field as we are used to going up against. And as we have 7K to go. This is a rather short climb. We do want to hold position, so we'll go right into those climbing legs, into that mountain rating of 85 to try to hold near the front. At 6K, I will sprint train this thing and try to set ourselves up not to hang on, but to attack and execute and put pressure on some of the other guys. And we're already seeing an attack by Van Hoek, who is not one of the top guys, but is certainly one of the good ones. And at 5.5k, we're close enough. Let's do this thing. So we've got our 3. That's obvious. Careless is the 4th guy, so that's obvious. And actually, is he the 4th guy? Do we want a 95? It's 5.5k. We'll just about push that hard. Arab not even feeling it. Not even feeling it, so that's good. 4k. Lottering and Mohira are both down, but Careless is ready. We'll decide when to put our foot down and get that next acceleration, and it's going to be fairly soon. I think right at 3k I want Careless to get on with it. So let's get these two, grab onto the back, try to create a break. Hoka's still there. 2.7. Nice acceleration there. Still 91 riders. We haven't split anybody off yet, but we've put them under heavy pressure now twice. Get over the top of that thing. 2.1k, so Arab. That only lasted for 1 kilometer, so we went through 2 guys in 1 kilometer. So at about 1.5, we'll make our last move. Janssen does have enough to at least accelerate and get up beside Careless. And now Hanouk. Not a mountain guy. Oof. What's a 92 look like for you, Hanouk? What's a 99 look for you, Hanouk? Okay, Arab's right there with us. Van Hoek has been pushing a long time. He's going to struggle. But Tejada's well placed with 1k to go. Van Dienenbiel. The big mountain guys are not in the best of positions. Here they come. Venegas, Paulus. And like Dwyer's the best puncher around. Other than Boyot? Is that how you would say that? Boyot? Paulus is going to still be dangerous, but he's not that well positioned. And it's time for a Shimway. We'll try a 96. Into that last kilometer, 94. 600 meters. 400 meters, a Shimway attacking, and now Arab attacking. And we have separation, but here comes red jersey wearer, and a Shimway's going to win the stage. 10-second bonus. Broussard, Arab gets a bonus. Separation, 15 seconds to these guys. We've got a top 3. We have got a top 3 secured, and we've managed to get a stage win out of this. Hanouk. Nice. Nice. Arab had a little bit left. Like I said, Shimway was the stronger rider today, but Arab was better placed. Shimway was decently placed. He was about 15th to 18th, somewhere in that range, entering this stage. I never looked at what his position was, but he's 10-15 seconds further down. He'll gain 10 seconds here, but Arab's still going to be the better placed guy. Broussard, same time for the first 3 riders, then 2 riders at 14, a small group at 22, 28, 42. Plenty of separation. This is going to put us in a very strong position, especially as Shimway and Arab. And yes, that was our leader on time, Broussard. So it's not going to be a win, but I'm very confident that we've got a top 3 here with Sammy, Arab, and that Shimway himself could be in the top 5 after this one, where Hanouk, maybe we'll see if he's anywhere near the top 10, but there's a rider like Carapaz who at 37 is a 76-77 riding with Austria car. There you go. We are 2 riders onto the podium, 23 seconds behind Broussard, but for only playing a single stage. That's a great result for us. Our first win of the year, and 2 guys on the podium GC-wise, completing our biggest objective of the entire year. That's going to be a big boost to that sponsor confidence, which was quite low here in the midpoint of February. Now, as far as speeding things up goes, well, this has already sped things up by at least an episode. However, that's not how fast we want it to be. We want to be quite a bit faster. But here's the deal. We just established our season. We pushed all the way through the midpoint of February and got at least some racing in. Of course, we're going to be focusing primarily on the biggest monuments and GC races, which means we're not going to get as many results going forward because those are the difficult ones. Points have been a problem so far. This would definitely help with the ranking situation, at least a bit. But we are massively behind, and we did not get our third guy up in there. Henoch was many minutes behind. But with the sprint stage to come, this will not change. So at least we've got our biggest sponsor objective of the year complete, and we're going to be pushing forward a lot more than 2 months at a time. Fully expect that we can... Well, actually, I think the reality is we can expect to get maybe 2 months at a time because, monuments and grand tours and everything, and it really won't even necessarily be that fast, but much faster than what we're used to. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.